What happens when the souls of the animal kingdom align perfectly? Eagle, fox, bottlenose dolphin, octopus, house cat. You get the most quotable movie of all time, Hot Rod. Hi, I'm Abbie, and I like to party.
I'm Mikal, and I also like to party.
What? No. I like to party.
I'm David, and I like to party.
What did I just say to Michael?
You're right. Only Rod likes to party. And me.
And me.
Let's get into this. All right. So, I'm Abbie. I like to party. These two guys also, I guess, like to party. And welcome to TV Party Time. Spoilers ahead.
I just want to start out. Party is in our name, so inherently we all party.
Yes. Very good point. We all like to party.
Hard.
Let's
get a party going.
We do have celebratory cupcakes.
We do.
People can't see it, so I'm setting the stage. We do have celebratory cupcakes.
We also have a celebratory fighter jet because you can't see it. So.
That's so true. It's in our celebratory hangar.
Let's get in the movie.
Yeah. Okay. So, I have not seen this movie in quite a few years, and I was a little bit worried when we were going into it. I was like, okay, I know I recommended this one. I know it was a favorite. Will I still find it funny? Yeah, I still find it funny.
Yeah, I probably watch it once every 6 months.
Yep.
So it's always going to be funny to me.
Mm-hmm. The biannual
Hot Rodathon.
Laughathon, yeah.
I'm the cool guy, and I saw this movie at the midnight screening before it came out. Just someone's like, hey, there's a movie you want to come see. I'm like, okay. And it's like, it's about a stunt man. I'm like, okay. And I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, this is the funniest movie I've ever seen in my life. It's still funny. Still made me laugh the entire time watching it.
Yeah, still holds up. It's not even modern day jokes. It's just relevant jokes consistently that are just genuinely funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it got panned. There was so many negative press about the directing and the comedy style. And I think Lorne, the guy from SNL, said, oh, people won't get it now, but it'll be a cult classic in years.
Yeah, I mean,
and he was
right.
totally right. Yeah. Critics don't know anything, apparently.
Who didn't get it right away?
Oh, tons of people. That's why it's got bad Rotten Tomato score.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, we can't trust Rotten Tomatoes. We can't trust. Okay.
So let's get into this.
Yeah, let's get into it. So,
do we want to do like our normal little thing where we just kind of break it down, or do you just want to talk about our favorite parts? Because I'm guessing most people have seen it.
Just break down quickly.
Yeah, do a quick
Okay.
little. What happens?
Little big points.
What's the
little
story?
big points, just
How's
big
it go?
points. just a little.
Every
big
point
points.
feels like a big point.
Yeah. Go.
Okay, so we have our main character, Rod Kimball, who is an aspiring stuntman
Mm-hmm.
living his life without his father, trying to not only live up to his father's name, who he believes was a stuntman for Evel Knievel, but he's also trying to earn the respect of his stepfather, who we think hates him. And so they're always fighting and battling, trying to earn his respect. And we find out that the stepfather actually needs a heart transplant. And
Played by Ian McShane, does a flawless job at this role.
Perfect.
so perfect.
Yeah.
Could not have picked a better person. Unfortunately, the family doesn't have the money for it. Insurance won't cover the heart surgery. So Rod decides that he's going to try to raise the money for his stepfather, Frank, his heart surgery
Yes.
by doing stunts and other shenanigans, and eventually setting up a grand stunt where he jumps 15 buses
One more than Evel Knievel. He looked it up.
Yep.
online.
Also was sponsored by an AM radio station instead of a news station.
Yeah.
So they have to listen to it. No one can watch it. They can only listen.
I have to say, though, like, when we're watching the scene where the AM radio station is covering it, it's amazing. Like, I feel the intensity. If I was sitting there listening listening to the radio, I just really admire people who have the skill to really take things and make them sound interesting, you know?
Or just that, and then just good editing in general in the
True.
movie that actually kept the the pacing like
Agreed.
intense and like wouldn't stick on one scene for too long.
100%. I think the editing was really great. I think that's why this movie has so much like rewatchability. It's because the pacing is just flawless.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they also with the editing, they don't explain the joke. It's just like here's the joke, here's the punchline.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many times, it's like at the beginning when he goes to jump the pool, like please don't embarrass myself. He lands in the pool and then it cuts to him walking home covered.
Perfect. Yeah.
Like soap.
Great.
You don't
Yeah.
need to see
Yeah.
the conversation after. Like you already know he's embarrassed.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I really do appreciate that. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of like subtle. It's weird because like on the one hand, so much of their jokes are not subtle. Like especially when it's like the slapstick stuff, like the facial expressions, whatever.
The
Or
lines,
just-
the lines. There's so many like little lines that are thrown in there that just like stick with you, and you don't really remember like never sneak up on a man who's been in a
I was
chemical
just
fire.
about to say that. He's like wearing like the army shirt. Like you
Yes.
expect him to say something about the army.
Mhm.
That's probably my favorite one-liner.
That's my
in the
favorite
movie.
line in the whole movie. I say that all the time, and no one knows what the hell I'm talking about. And
Just Frank.
So
just
many of those.
out of nowhere.
yeah,
Never sneak up on a man that's been in a chemical
Yeah.
fire. Like, okay.
and it's and then like Rhodesian
Rhodesian
fighting
fight-
sticks. Oh yeah, Rhodesia. They make and they cut it. They just fucking awesome.
And that's another thing. This movie is so quotable.
Oh yeah.
Like it's on par quotable with Anchorman.
Oh yeah.
Am
I'd
I-
say it's
Or
much
more.
than
It's
Anchorman.
probably more because it's chock full of them. So it's
It's
like
got to be like 70% one-liners.
Yep.
100%, 70% one-liners.
The math checks out.
Yeah.
It's there. I looked it up on the internet.
100% of the time, it works 70% of the time.
So yeah, just I was quite pleased to rewatch it and still laugh at all of the same ridiculous stuff. But here's my question this time around. I can't tell. I don't think I cared whenever I first watched it in like high school or something. I don't think I cared about this point, but I wonder it now. Is it supposed to be a period piece? Or is it just supposed to be set in like modern day times, but everyone's kind of like poor and
I think they're just
out of
poor.
date?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's just, it adds to the comedy by them.
Yeah, being weirdos.
Not-
They're just
yeah.
Weird. Small
Like-
town weirdos.
He's trying to be a stuntman, but he has no money to do it.
Sure, but it's
so they
like,
just find random.
but like
would.
everybody's wearing like 70s and 80s attire, even like the mom and dad.
I think that's just they're just weirdo styles. I think that's.
I'd
Just
say
what
that's
it
just
is.
like art direction.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wasn't sure if the art direction was because it's supposed to be a period piece or if it's just to kind of make it
Yeah.
funny and
I
nostalgic
just think
for
it's
this
supposed to
family.
be. I just think they're supposed to be weird looking.
Okay, because there are two like jokes that would only, if it was a period piece, there are two jokes that do not make any sense.
Yeah,
like-
well, because then you see Jonathan in a Corvette, like a brand new Corvette.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
that's
he's
true, that's
dressed
true.
differently. So I think it's like a
They're just supposed to be like kind
Goodwill
of,
kind of shopping.
Gotcha. That's what I was wondering. Okay, yeah. Well,
What were the two jokes that wouldn't make sense?
whenever they've got the video and it's been downloaded 100 times, he's like, "This has been bouncing around more than a beach ball at a Nickelback concert."
Oh yeah, I think it's just like those random like
Or like whenever he comes,
Stank.
whenever he comes back to life after almost dying, and he's just like, "I'm a stank."
Do we want to talk about the side characters?
100%.
Yeah. 'cause
we're
they're-
just
Let's go.
we're just blowing through the breakdown.
Yeah,
We-
yeah.
I mean, it's already been
The
done.
breakdown's
breakdown,
done. The
yeah.
breakdown's done. He gets the girl in the end.
Well,
Oops.
yeah, spoiler.
Spoiler: he doesn't land the jump. Instead, he breaks every bone in his body, and he.
Oh,
saves the girl.
I'm saying definitely
20 bones minimum.
yeah.
Yeah. You probably hurt. Like, no, I'd say I'm definitely hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, but actually, him not landing the jump is perfect
Oh,
because
yeah.
that like builds the intensity, but also like for a viewer or for a listener who's thinking about donating, if you hear like, "Well, I hope no one's had a fight with Rod this morning because he's most likely dead," you know you're gonna donate.
It also is on par with the rest of everything else because clearly who's ever building the ramps and doing the math for the jumps can't do it. So it makes sense they would not be able to do it on a bigger scale if they can't even do it on a small scale.
Well, he also
They have a new bike.
Well, it's not.
he fell off like instantly.
He did, but
so
they
he's just
did-
not a good.
there was no math
motorcycle
involved in anywhere. It was a kind of everybody, but it's on the whole team about how bad they are. And it wouldn't have made sense if they would have made the jump because there's no rational reason
Oh,
about
yeah,
how
it
they
just
would
wouldn't-
all of a
it-
sudden know how
yeah.
to build the ramps, know the speed, do the math to get the jump, what speed you need to go, the air time to land, where to land, how to land.
Yeah.
Since he's never landed a jump in his life, how is he gonna even just riding the dirt bike, which he's never done because he's only had the moped.
Moped,
The
yeah.
moped.
So he's just, if he would have landed it, it would have made sense. So him falling and breaking every bone
Yeah.
is amazing. And then after the hospital, we cut to the future where Frank has his heart transplant, and then they get in the fight, and he does the ultimate punch, but lands at this time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, kick and 2 punches at the same time.
I love that. And he finally beats Frank, and to kick it off, he does the Tai
shit
Chi
your pants
move, the make a grown man crap his pants, which is like just punch him in his stomach, and we get the quick ending of him jumping in the air, which was absolutely perfect. Then end with some Europe, the band.
Mm-hmm.
So
And that's another thing. The soundtrack
is
too
fucking
good.
Perfect.
Too
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
Too
What
good.
was your guys' favorite stunt? It didn't need to be perfect, just like your favorite one from the movie, if you had to pick one.
Oh, you want to go?
I'm sure my mind will change, but all I can think about is whenever he's like slam dancing in the woods and he's doing the gymnastics. Fucking hilarious.
Like the biggest thing to set up the plot,
Yes.
or to set up the rest of the movie.
It's just like I love that he's like he's just like dancing and
I need
then
to go
like
to my happy place.
I need to go to my notes, my quiet place. It's like dancing or whatever, but then it just all of a sudden he's just doing like flips, but like they're perfectly executed by a gymnast. It's just fucking,
And it has like the 80s
makes no
angles and all
sense.
that.
It's too good.
The
Everything
logs
about
have
it is too good.
handles, so he could do the gymnast.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of great things in there.
So that's right now, as I can think, that's my favorite stunt.
Mine 1,000,000% is when he's in the tree stand and they're doing the explosion
yeah.
and they blow it up too soon and he's like, what? Don't blow it up. Oh, blow it up. Yeah. And he just drops his stuff and drives off.
I think my favorite interaction in the movie is after that. It was like, what? You're a terrible stuntman.
Yeah,
yeah.
What? You're a terrible stuntman. No, I can just hear you. That was just really mean.
Yep.
What
No.
was your favorite stunt?
My favorite stunt is the first one. Not because of how terrible it was, but like because he rides, slams into the mail truck, and then just vomits.
Yes.
Like that guttural vomit made me laugh so hard.
There's a lot of weird, like, Napoleon Dynamite isms in this. It's kind of like in the same realm of weirdos. How he runs away, like, does the weird running, just like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, it was like that
Very
awkward,
awkward.
funny.
Yeah.
But this one's like,
I like this movie more than Napoleon Dynamite just because it doesn't try.
I didn't like Napoleon Dynamite at all.
Serious. Oh, I still love that movie, but I like this one a little bit more just because it is way more insane and way more like weird.
Where
funny
do
to me.
you get off?
Where do you get? Why are you
Whiskey.
saying it?
Whiskey?
I go to church every Sunday and you're going to release the demons out of me?
So many quotes.
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
mean, it's
Yeah.
Andy Samberg,
Dave or
Danny McBride,
Danny McBride, and Bill
Bill
Hader.
Hader, yeah, and
But then
Jorm.
Will Arnett, Isla Fisher, Jorma Taccone.
Mhm.
Like,
It's a great cast.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
no-
like great
and
everything.
they weren't like anybody's when this came out. That was like the best.
I think it was
thing.
like the start of like
The
Lonely
begin-
Island.
Yeah, Lonely Island starting. Yeah,
Like shortly around here is when like Jizz My Pants came out.
they did some shorts in SNL that got like Threw It on the Ground. I think that was the first one that got like really really big, and that's what got them the backing to do this from the guy from SNL. I always forget his name, Lorne Michaels. I think that's his name. He fought for them to get able to make this movie, and that's how they got it. Was because of him. Due
Well, they were,
to the Lonely Islands.
They were
funding.
really good on
Yeah.
SNL
Mhm.
already by themselves, but then like as a group,
I just love that Akiva directed it, and they were all part of it, and it wasn't just Andy Samberg acting, and just like it just felt really good. Like they knew each other, so they wrote it that way, and that's why it comes across so good.
oh man, and like when they're at the convenience store and Isla Fisher pulls up with Andy Samberg, like doing the awkward dancing in the parking
yes.
lot. Danny McBride just shoves Jorma's character into the van.
I can't help but wonder, was that scripted or was he just being an ass?
They
I
probably,
think
And it was
both.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's probably they just did it to because it looked like he wasn't expecting it.
It looked
Yeah,
like he
it looked
hit
genuine.
hard.
Yeah.
It looked genuine, yeah.
We could quote. We could probably do the whole podcast just saying lines from the
Re-quoting
movie.
So my question though is kind of going back onto the idea that it felt like they wrote it for each other. The writer was who would get Pam? What was it? Pam something.
Pam
Was she the
Pam
original
Brady.
writer that wrote the Will Ferrell version? Because this was a Will Ferrell movie that got like put on the back burner because no one wanted to do it, and then someone found it, and then they got to try
I
a
see.
hand at it. So I wasn't sure if she wrote it because I know the Lonely Island definitely rewrote it.
That's a
I'll
good
look it
question.
up while we keep talking.
Okay.
We can talk. We don't
Um,
need David.
Oh, and I can't remember his name. The guy who plays John, her boyfriend,
Will
Will
Arnett.
Arnett.
Yeah.
Will Arnett. He is so perfect for
Yep.
that role.
Babe,
It's only you, Cho. Get over
I'm
here.
gonna get some dong bags.
So just everything about just everything, every part of the movie, we
3
can
flaming
find.
Dr. Peppers.
Yes. Also, don't say dong bags to your partner because they don't think it's funny. I've done it. It doesn't work.
I'm
Just
starting
ruined
to-
the mood.
It ruins the mood. Yeah. So
Also, I'm looking through the trivia on IMDb for this. One of the trivia things is Rob tumbles down the hill for 47 seconds.
It was hilarious.
it was a long tumble.
It was I remember when I first watched the movie, that was me and my group of friends were laughing hysterically at how long that tumble was. We repeated it like 3 times to find like the most hilarious moments for each of us. It was so funny.
Like, these, I just read these trivia all day, but like, you guys gotta look them up themselves too, just because like Bill Hader based the tripping balls part on a friend.
That whole scene is amazing.
It is.
When the guy starts sliding away and puts on the top hat.
Yes.
I fucking love that whole like tripping scene. And the whole bowling alley. Every scene that takes place in a bowling alley just makes me laugh. Like when they're doing the all right, let's plan the stunt. And like, oh, where are you going, Dave? I gotta go to work. Is that a problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then cut to them planning at the
With them
bowling
at
alley
work.
while he's working. It's just like fucking perfect.
Yeah, everything's perfect about it. And then the random scene where it's like the homeless guy is now in charge.
Yeah, and like, what are you guys doing? Awesome, amazing writing. Whoever wrote it, if it was a combo, I know it was a combo. It was whoever originally wrote it with The Lonely Island and maybe someone else. But the writing was on point. The editing was on point.
Amazing.
The directing was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the critic says it was the worst part of the movie was the directing, and I
In
completely
what
disagree.
way? In what way? I need to know their reasoning.
Because there was nothing like this when it came out. Like, this is like, I think Superbad and all those movies are coming out.
Mm.
This is 2007.
Yeah.
I think Superbad was like 2009,
Was it?
or it's around that area. Yeah.
Okay, I could be wrong. I'm old, remember? This is a long time ago for me. So
It's a long time for me too, especially with my goldfish memory.
yes. But I just don't think there's anything like this out, and it just like confused people, and they're like, is this supposed to be funny? I don't know if this is funny or not. And I think to the younger crowd it was funny, but to the older crowd
Didn't get
the
it.
comedy was
for sure.
so
Yeah.
different that they didn't get it.
So that's weird because whenever I think of a movie that I hate, I don't immediately blame the director. Just me personally. I have a lot of things I could blame, but I don't immediately go to the director. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
A lot of people do. A lot of critics, that's the first one they go to.
Mm.
Because it is the director's job to get it out of the actor.
Well,
If the
it's-
actor's
it's
acting bad, it's on the director.
Interpreting the writing
Mhm.
and what would be funny, how to perform it.
Because even
But
like,
it's not solely on the director.
Mhm.
I think a lot of it is just even like when you look at student films, like we've all done them, like everyone's like, oh, the actor is so bad, but it's also the director not directing them. Because I know I've done it in short films where I'm like, oh man, I didn't say anything when I should have said something as the director, not giving them enough direction.
Yeah.
So that's, I think critics know that, and that's why they immediately like, oh, this is on the director, which I think it's on both, because the director is directing an actor who's taken their interpretation of something, and the director's not telling them it's not working. Instead, they're just letting them go with it to like, oh, let's see how this works.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, if the writing's just bad, there's only so much you can do as an actor and a director, I feel.
I feel
Like, if
there's
the
good
writing
movies
just
with bad
sucks.
writing.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, well, no. I don't know. It's like, yeah, the acting and directing can make a pile of doo-doo into something good, but it's like, you can still blame the writing. Like, I wouldn't blame the director if the writing is just bad. That's just me. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking
But
about.
to summarize this, directing,
summarize this,
phenomenal.
everything perfect.
Writing,
Yes.
great.
Everything about this
Acting,
movie is great.
top notch.
This is almost a perfect. Well, what isn't perfect? I think the end kind of goes slow a bit, so it's not perfect. It's definitely like a 9.8 out of 10 for me. But I think the end gets a little slow at points, but everything else is just on point because there's so much quick going on throughout the rest of the movie that the end it's a slow down.
So what do you consider the end?
I feel like the end is right the big jump. Everything leading on to the big jump.
So give me a point in time where it started to slow down for you.
When the whole scene when they first meet the AM radio guy, that's where the movie starts to slow down a bit.
So
It's like a little bit after the midpoint.
So
is it?
once they already
Yeah.
have the jump established and they're building it, and then they introduce
the day of the jump. Yeah, the day of the jump.
Okay.
Well,
When
yeah,
they're all
that's
getting
kind of
prepped.
like pacing wise, it kind of slows down.
That's what I mean.
Because it's not going from like stunt to stunt to stunt. To
Exactly. And
Grocery store.
that's where it slows down
Yeah.
just a bit, and it's a little weird because the whole movie is just like bam, 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 and then it's just kind of like bam.
Are you only talking about the scene with?
I'm also saying, I'm not. This is why it's not a perfect movie.
Oh
it's
no,
an
yeah, I'm
almost
just
perfect
trying
movie.
to. I'm
It's just a
curious to understand.
the small little pacing problem.
Okay, so
towards the end.
but do you mean specifically just the scene with the AM radio guy, or from there on out?
From there on, as soon as the day of the jump, that
Okay.
whole thing feels different than the
Uh-huh.
rest of the movie, and it should because it has to be there for this big moment.
Mhm.
It has to be there, but from a viewing point, not a creative point.
Mhm.
It feels slow.
I think if I was going to try to find any part of the movie that was like that at all for me, it would be whenever he starts to train and prep for the jump. So like the pool scene, going down the hill.
The spirit of the bottlenose
Even-
dolphin.
Don't even ask us. Just bring it.
Even though to me, I don't actually think those were pacing issues, but if there was any moment when I was watching, I was just like, okay, we're like moving on to a new part, consciously recognizing that would be the moment for me. But I have no problems with it.
Right, you, David.
Yeah, it's like I'd say the slowest part for me is like when he gets like after the viewing when he has to give all the money back.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that kind of slows down. It's still funny,
Mhm.
and when he has just a cart full of alcohol.
Oh yeah, that part is.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that scene doesn't need to be there.
But it's like
funny-ish.
it's funny-ish, but it's not as funny as the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
It's weird. It's a weird moment in the movie.
it's such a small part. Like he's just at his lowest point for so little.
Mm.
Yeah, and I don't.
Like for like a scene, and then like
Well,
now we got.
How does he
sponsored.
afford
No,
all that
that's not
alcohol?
true.
Also, that's my other question.
I know. I was wondering that too. That was a lot of liquor,
Yeah.
and that was like
Yeah,
A G.
handles. No,
Yeah.
but he was unlegit, so
Yeah.
therefore he must quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is like one of the most quotable parts of the movie. I can't believe any. So,
Too
but
legit.
too legit. This is where video would really come in
Yeah.
handy.
Yes.
Soon.
Soon.
But-
Also, real quick, an
Sure.
update on the writer. I couldn't find anything in the trivia, but I highly recommend reading the trivia because it's just as weird as a movie.
Okay.
I'm so into it. That'll be some bonus content maybe. So, oh, okay, no. So, also just a touch that I love whenever he's in his low, like back to normal period of time. Did you see his outfit? It's just like a sweater vest and a
Yes.
tie
And a
and like a
top.
side
Yes,
part
yes.
hair.
Slacks and
Yeah.
But he wears that for like 2 or 3 scenes.
Mhm.
He's wearing that to bed whenever he picks up Dave
Uh-huh.
from the workshop to drive him to the hospital. He's
Mhm.
wearing that in the scene before. I don't remember the sequence, but he's wearing that from the liquor store scene up until he drives Dave to the hospital, I think.
I think
And maybe even a scene after when he's like, because that's the whole moment where it's like he's coming to realize that he still needs to do this. It's kind of starting with what Isla Fisher's character says, where she's like, I like you because you're exactly who you are and you've never changed. And that like it starts to hit him, in the feels a little bit. And then, we get to the crux of that moment, of that like turning point where Dave's character is just like, if you've got the talent to do something to save your dad, like that's pretty cool. It'd be a shame to waste it,
Mhm.
And that's like the turning point. So in those scenes that he's wearing that outfit, it signifies that he is going through that transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I love that's what his, what he thinks a normal person looks like.
I know,
Yeah.
right? It's so ridiculous. And he wears it to bed. I want to
Yeah.
just make that very clear. He woke up wearing that outfit to take Dave
was
to the
Hillary
hospital.
Duff the attendant? Because I thought that was
It
Hillary Duff.
Looked like her,
Yeah, but I
and,
think she
and
may
this
be going
little
for it.
southern twang every
Yeah.
once in a while did really remind me of her, but I don't think it was not her.
Yeah, no, it wasn't her.
I wish she would have shown up for the date because it'd been even weirder.
It would have been even weirder.
I think it would have been funnier. But also, it is funny
It-
that he got. I feel
Well, it's like-
too on point to be
We
stood
needed
up.
him to get stood up for her
Yeah.
to have that bonding
Yeah,
moment.
because
Yeah.
he went over to Sullivan. Or not,
Sully,
um,
you chose.
Will Arnett's character.
I'm saying that again. I already said it.
You
I'm saying
chose,
it again.
yeah.
I
Well,
love that
Jonathan
whole line.
went over to Sullivan,
Yeah.
and then that's when they got to talk, and like, so yeah, he's kind of cool
Heart to
or
heart.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just every part of the movie is perfect to me.
I think we got one major question we have to ask:
Okay.
Okay.
taco or grilled cheese? Who
um,
would win the fight?
it's really hard for me to answer because I see the way it plays out.
Are we talking prison rules?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter. It's a fight. Fair game.
yeah.
Or we'll
Krav Maga.
go
There's no
Mortal
rules in Krav
Kombat
Maga.
style.
Okay.
Taco versus grilled
So
cheese.
what would the taco and grilled cheese's special moves be?
You get to make that up. I say
Yeah.
the grilled cheese special move separates his bread, swallows you up, and you get stuck in his cheese and disintegrate.
See, I was
Ooh.
going somewhere similar with that.
Fatality.
I was going to say
Okay.
he was going to split himself and
Oh.
wrap him around like a boa constrictor and choke the taco to death.
Oh, or he splits himself in half. So there's two of them,
Ooh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
so they can gang fight him.
So what would the taco special be?
Does
Or
he would-
fatality.
He would 1000% shoot hot sauce at you like a Hadouken.
I was thinking that, or just like breaking off a part of his taco and
Yeah,
just
and
like stabbing
shanking
the
you.
Oh,
grilled
yeah,
cheese.
shanking
shank,
you for
yeah.
sure.
A shell shank.
Yeah, it would have to
Shell
be.
shank.
It would have to be like the crispy edge
Uh-huh.
because you know the base where the meat is
Little
on the
soggy.
liquids.
Soggy,
yeah, it's
yeah.
getting a little soggy.
So who do we think would win? I think grilled cheese would win because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
more like,
With the moves we just came up with. The
With the
grilled cheese
moves?
1000%.
not even that. It's
Yeah.
just like more malleable. A crispy taco it's crispy, so it's going to be like easy to break.
Easy to break.
So like
yeah.
just one sidekick to the taco's ribs,
And
and,
he's
there
gonna-
goes his ribs.
He's gonna fall out. You just
Yeah,
push him.
exactly. Like, when was the last time you ate a crispy taco without spilling anything?
Exactly. And grilled cheese never happens. Is this just a
Although-
regular grilled cheese, or are we putting stuff on this?
no,
grilled
just
cheese?
a
What's the
regular.
Okay.
Like white bread, butter, cheese.
Okay.
Yes. Although at the same time, tell me a time you've eaten a taco and didn't stab the roof of your mouth with or
That's
like
true, that's
between
true. It's like-
between your teeth with a
like-
tiny piece of the shell.
It's like a little sneaky stab.
Yeah.
It happens every time. So I could see the taco pulling through, but I'm still voting for grilled cheese.
Yeah, I'm voting for grilled cheese.
Yeah, grilled cheese.
Regardless of the rules.
He also has invisibility. I'm throwing that in there.
No
All right.
explanation needed. Just
Nope.
like every
Yep.
kind of joke in here.
Oh, love it. I can't think of anything to critique. And
I think it was just like what we went over. Just like
Yeah, just those
But it was like-
small parts.
it was necessary to move the story along.
I don't see those as critiques because to me, a good pace includes downtime. Otherwise, you're just jacked up the whole time, and it's like your body is like overwhelmed with just like the anxious excitement. Like even F9 that we reviewed, whatever week it was, there were downtimes in that too, even if they were
Last
brief.
week?
Was it last week? I don't remember. Again, goldfish memory. I mean, there were downtimes in that, but they were quick. You know, they were short-lived. I feel the same with Hot Rod. The moments that were down were when it needed to be, and they didn't last too long. So for me, it helped the pace.
So I didn't think the pace with slow story. I think pacing in just talking, like
Or
what Michael
action.
said about that AM FM, like that scene. It had the jokes that were that long, and so it went on with it, but it just went on.
I guess to me that's not a pacing issue. That was just a writing choice. I think we're supposed to feel uncomfortable with the AM guy, the way that Rod and whoever he's with feel uncomfortable, where they're
a
just
little
like,
bit
oh
of residue.
yeah, interesting.
So it shoots out in two
Yeah,
streams.
I like to get a one night stand.
Did
the
you
questionable
know
lady.
they had to change that word from semen to residue?
Residue.
To keep
Residue
it from
is more
NC-17,
disgusting.
I think.
100%. If someone told me I had some residue on me, I would be disgusted.
Yeah, it sounds a little worse.
Yeah.
Residue
It
is
was
way
better
worse.
for the MPAA.
Yeah.
So
To
those
me,
weirdos.
no pacing issues. That's just me.
That's fine because that's why we're here.
Yeah.
We all see movies differently. I still loved it.
I love
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean,
So what do
still
we
going
rate
forward.
it?
Oh, are we there yet? Okay.
Do you
Yeah.
feel like we're there yet?
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, we could just keep going on, but
Otherwise,
the
we're just
movie
going to
will
quote every
yeah.
part of the movie.
Yeah.
The movie will speak for itself, so
Mhm.
go see it. Abbie, what's your recommendation? Well, you hosted, so I guess I'll go first. I'm giving it 9 exploding tree houses out of 10.
Wow.
I'm actually gonna give it 10.
Yeah, I'm changing it. I'm
I was
giving
about
it
to say, I'm
10.
a
Yeah.
little offended.
Yeah.
I said 9. I felt bad. Like, no, you're
Yeah.
wrong. I was like, there's an inner argument with myself. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Even though
do
I'm,
you know what you just said?
There's one of you in a taco outfit. There's one of you in a
yeah,
grilled
one
cheese
on each
outfit.
shoulder.
even though it's a 9.9,
But they're just both beating me up.
99, I'm still going to round up to a perfect 10,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna give it 10 removable mustaches out of
Ooh.
10.
That is a good. I'm going to give it.
Drum roll.
I'm going to give it 10 successful heart surgeries out of 10.
Perfect.
There we go.
Everything about it. Loved it.
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely recommend if you've never seen it.
It's on Netflix right now.
It's on like everything.
That's true.
There's
Highly
no reason
recommend.
not to watch this movie other than you suck. That's what I'm going to say.
Or you have like some personal vendetta against like
Or you-
Andy Samberg
Comedy.
and SNL crew.
Or you just really hate the word residue.
Yeah.
Or Cool Beans.
Cool beans.
Oh, cool beans. Cool beans.
Cool beans.
Cool
Cool
Beans.
beans.
Cool.
Cool, 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 cool,
Cool.
beans.
All right. Cool
So
beans.
Cool Beans.
Cool beans.
All right.
Yeah, don't forget to follow us on all the socials.
That's right.
Like us, follow us on YouTube. We really need those YouTube likes.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe the video.
Yes, please. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You can also find us on all of your favorite streaming platforms. iTunes, Spotify, Audible, you name it.
Look up TV Party Time on all of those. Most of them will be related, or not related though. They'll be labeled as the usernames TV Party Time or TV Party Time Pod. Look for a logo with the 5 little colors.
Or just copy and paste our RSS feed in whatever app you use. If you don't use the big ones like a weirdo, why aren't you using them? There's no reason not to. Come on. Use the big ones. Use Spotify. Do it.
Either way, we love you.
Cool Beans.
Bye bye.
Cool beans.
Bong.
Oh.